Dragonfolk, it seems that we were put out on a bounty to find out how we could possibly reveal the Dragon Shield spoiler for Flesh and Blood's Outsiders. We succeeded, so now we get to talk about it. Welcome on in, Dragonfolk. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I know I am. My name is Ashen Wings, and you are all here with me in the lair. Today we are talking about a new card that was spoiled over on the Dragon Shield Twitter. We were given a bounty by them, essentially, to retweet the tweet that would reveal their spoiler card. If they'd hit 1,000 retweets in a matter of the day, then it would reveal itself. And boy, howdy, did we break that pretty quickly. I know it was well before the end of the day that we passed well over 1,000. So we waited until the next day, and we were given the actual spoiler for Outsiders from Dragon Shield. And it is none other than the card Dishonor. Now, we got to talk about this card a little bit because just first and foremost, look at the art. How amazing is that? Just the coolest ninja card you could ever think of, right? It's a ninja action attack. And now this is where we talk about the crazy stuff, right? It pitches for blue. It costs 0. It blocks for 3. It comes in for 2 attack. But it has combo. And its combo ability reads, if Bonds of Ancestry, which is a previous ninja card that we had talked about here on the channel, was the last attack this combat chain, this has +2. So you are essentially going to want to try and combo this with Bonds of Ancestry, and this will come in for 4, which is a breakpoint. That's pretty neat, right? We like to see breakpoints, and you get to play this for 0. Not too shabby. The second effect, though, is really what is terrifying to me. The second effect reads, when this hits a hero, if you control Surging Strike, Descendant Gustwave, and Bonds of Ancestry, that hero loses all abilities for the rest of the game. That's right. Not only in that same paragraph, did you notice that there's a new Gustwave card being introduced in this set, which I think all of us kind of knew, with Bonds of Ancestry talking about any Gustwave card being a trigger for its ability. This is also a way to completely shut down certain heroes in Flesh and Blood. I mean, an absolute insane debilitation. This is almost as permanent of an ability as a Regicide, right? And this one isn't legendary. You can run 3 copies of Dishonor. It's mind-blowing to me that this card exists. Now, of course, we have to talk about the setup, right? Obviously, you see here that it says that you need to control a Surging Strike, a Descendant Gustwave, and a Bonds of Ancestry, all in the same chain in order for this to trigger. But of course, it also needs to hit. So there are several factors being put into this place. But this card itself brings enough fear into the meta alone that I believe it is more powerful outside of a deck than it even is inside of a deck. Because if at any point you come in with a Surging Strike and a Descendant Gustwave, and then a Bonds of Ancestry, which you'd be able to get to play for free because Descendant Gustwave is before it, and you don't even need to play them all in order. I mean, obviously, you're going to probably want to play them in order because you get the combo triggers off of them, but it doesn't matter what order you play these. As long as you have them go again and you control all of them, you're good. But the fact that if this even hits, your hero loses all their abilities. Dromai can no longer make Ash. You have Viscerai no longer able to make Rune Chants. You have Briar no longer able to make Embodiments. You have Oldhim no longer able to Ice React. Lexi no longer able to flip her cards from the arsenal face up to give Go Again or any kind of Frostbite. So many heroes are completely shut down if this hits. and you only need to squeeze 1 damage through. So the reason I say that this is more terrifying than anything else outside of a deck than inside it is because, well, one, we don't know anything about Descending Gust Wave. Descending Gust Wave very well could be another 0-cost Gust Wave that could search for something else and have some kind of downside, because they wouldn't just make this super easy for people to pull off. But of course, if they did, and it happened to be the case, you have to think about it like this. Surging Strike already could come in from anywhere between, 2 to 4, depending on the color. Surging Strike comes in, you got to pay 2 for that. Descending Gust Wave comes in, does whatever damage that's supposed to do. Bonds of Ancestry comes in, I believe that also does 4, costs nothing if you played a Gust Wave previously, and has Go Again, and allows you to banish a card from your graveyard and then go search that card with the same name in your deck and then add that to your hand. It's the perfect setup. So the fact that even if you don't see the Dishonor here, you don't know whether or not it's going to be something in their hand, right? Obviously, they have to reveal these things to you, so it is going to be a little bit more of a tell that they're going to play Dishonor next. But I think the real kicker here is that if you don't do anything with that until like super late into the game, your opponent is either going to spend most of their resources, their blocking resources, blocking all of your attacks so that they don't come through, and then will allow the Dishonor to come through because they won't have anything else to block with. Or they take everything at the beginning, right? They take the Surging Strike, they take the Descending Gust Wave, they take the Bonds of Ancestry, and then they save everything in their hand for the Dishonor. That's like possibly 7 to 10 damage that is going to get pushed into that's going to get pushed into the opponent before Dishonor is even played. So there's a certain amount of fear there, because if at any point Dishonor is a possible thing that is run in their deck and they're able to get it out, they probably will. And not to mention, if they have something like a attack reaction in the arsenal, something like a Razor Reflex or an Ancestral Empowerment, for instance, that is just enough to squeeze that damage through and really just ruin anybody's day. I'd hate to be the person on the receiving side of a Dishonor. But again, I'm not sure how much setup we're going to need for this card. I'm not even sure how many people are going to run this card. But from what I can tell is that the card is in fact going to be something that is very, very terrifying. A lot of the Flesh and Blood community has they're shaking in their boots right now in regards to this card. And I cannot help but think that Katsu is just the new assassin, just completely cutting the throats of the heroes that have that. Luckily, if you're playing Dash right now, you're not terrified of this card at all. So maybe it's time to start building that Mechanologist deck. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this spoiler card. I'm very, very excited to take a look into it and see what it's all about. The card seems super, super viable. Worst case scenario, it's a blue pitch that's 0 that blocks for 3. And you want blue pitch 0 cost stuff for Kodachis and things like that. 3 block is always super good. It's a good card to have in your deck. I don't know why you wouldn't run it. But of course, if your goal is to attempt to get that combo off, will it happen often? Who knows? Obviously, we just need to wait and see until Descending Gust Wave is spoiled for us next. So while you're down there writing that comment, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. You can also find us on Patreon in the link down below in the description. We do also have a channel membership for everybody to join here on YouTube. So if that is something you wanted to do to support the channel in a more monetary sense, it is certainly appreciated, but absolutely not necessary. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, I do truly appreciate your support. And I will see you all in the pits. Nerd out.